Norman Liss, and the name of the program is The Way to Go. I invite you to join me as we explore places to go and things to do. We're having a crafty show today because we're going to be talking about the Westchester Craft Show, which is going to be in full bloom at the Westchester County Center this fall. And today we have two people with us who will talk all about crafts and what they are and how great they are. Betsy Kubie is the director of the show, and Patricia Burling is a craftsperson, a weaver. And we'll get into that very, very soon. So what is this wonderful thing called crafts? Where does it all start? Where does a craft person get the idea and the inspiration and the desire to do something? Where does it come from?
I think we have to ask Patricia that question.
Well, I dream a lot of my ideas.
Dream?
Dream them. And sometimes I get a lot of my ideas from nature when I'm walking along a road or driving in my car or traveling. Colors come to me, and it all comes together lots of times in a dream.
Is it like the comic strip bulb lighting up?
Not quite. There's some labor involved in it, but I think that I see colors. I can be in a garden and just focus in on a section of a meadow or a garden, and I see those colors, and I say I'd like to use those colors.
Are you always looking for inspiration?
Yes, always.
I've noted when I'm with a writer, for example, that I walk the same path with the writer, but I don't see what then appears in print, because at times that person becomes a camera and sees things and registers them for reproduction later on. Is that what the process is? Are you a camera? Is your mind working and saying, is this an idea? Is that an idea?
I think so, yes. Recently I was in a meadow, and I just turned around and there were some daylilies in a corner, and I thought, oh, I like to do that, and I remembered them, and then I put them in a rug, those colors.
I'm just going to let that hang as a teaser for a moment, because we're going to show some of your work and talk about the process a little later on in the program, what comes from that dream or that idea or that walk in the meadow, and then how it turns out, and we'll show some of the things that you brought along, which would be terrific. But let's talk generally about the Westchester Craft Show. This is the first time in Westchester after 7 years in Washington?
Right. We started in Washington and couldn't be in a better place. Awful. I don't mean to say awful. It's a huge community with people from all over the world who come and view these crafts and buy and purchase and take them to other countries. So that's been very exciting. Coming up to Westchester is going to be a different departure for us, but I'm very excited about it. This is where I grew up and coming home.
So what? How do you define what are crafts? Is it something that someone makes? Could it be anything that someone makes with their hands?
Well, traditionally crafts are functional. In theory, they were done to enhance your daily life. You needed furniture to sit on, you needed vessels to eat from, utensils to use when you're eating. Today, crafts are almost more visual and more artistic in nature. Contemporary crafts, which is what we're promoting and bringing into the show, are pushing that window instead of the traditional craft. It's stretching those boundaries and making beautiful pieces of artwork.
So at the Westchester Craft Show, actually, there are about 100 people
about 110.
coming. 110 people who will be exhibiting and selling, so people can buy what is being shown there.
Exactly. They will be here for 2 days. They're coming from all over the United States. They represent about 28 different countries. And they have been juried, which makes this a special show.
What does that mean, juried?
We have a professional jury that changes every year. We invite people in the arts to come and be a part of this jury. It's usually a 3 to 4 member jury. And we have had curators of museums, directors of fine galleries, people from the craft world.
So do they review every piece that's going to be shown, or general
No.
categories?
No.
How does it work?
What happens is the exhibitors will send in work through slides. They send in 5 slides of their work, and from that they have to choose among the different categories who they're going to invite to the show.
So the categories are important.
It's important that they jury in a category. When I say categories, glass, ceramics, metal, fiber. Then they represent the majority of the work that's going to be shown.
Does everything fit into specific categories? Is there some standards that are under the categories?
Yes, basically. We do have one category. It's called mixed media, and that's kind of fun because there you can cross over, and the work can be a little bit more playful and represent several different media.
So when you say mixed media, is it possible that one craftsperson could work in several different media?
Absolutely. I think, I don't know if you do, Patricia, but fiber artists are a good example of that. They're incorporating now into traditional weaving bits of paper, found objects that they have, and creating wonderful assemblages.
That sounds innovative. It sounds like crafts are changing so that they're not always the same. People are innovating and coming up with
experimenting.
Experimenting.
Absolutely. There's so many new techniques on these old traditional techniques that craftspeople have used, which make these pieces very special and very contemporary in today's society.
That brings us back to what we were talking about, Patricia, is where does the idea come from? Someone can do a vase or a piece of jewelry and then say, I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to embark in a new direction and come up with something which has perhaps never been done before. And then other people see it and they build on it and they build on it. And that's how it happens. So is it state-of-the-art in the show? Is it showing what is happening? And
I think that you can definitely say that. These are artists who, many of them, have not come out of the traditional school, that have been in other fields and brought their experiences to their art form. One of our exhibitors, I have a piece here that I'm going to show you.
Why don't you bring that up on the carefully?
Carefully. This is porcelain.
We're going to put it right over here. Can you do that? Why don't we talk about it?
A very fragile piece of work. It's porcelain. You can hear it ring. If you hold it up to the light, you can see through it. This artist studied to be a surgeon, working with his hands in a very technical field, and developed through his college years an interest in working with his hands in other areas, and got into pottery. And this is what has come of it. And it's beautiful work, very special.
And seems to me, as a layman, difficult to conceive and even more difficult to execute.
He says it takes about 50 hours a piece. Only about 30% of the pieces come out when they're fired. They're very, very fragile. They're very fine. He almost uses a scalpel. I'm not sure what the instrument is that he uses to cut these lines, but his design is very precise and creates very special work.
Now, are crafts one of a kind? Are there 2 of these in existence, exactly the same?
I don't think any 2 pieces of his work, or a lot of these craftsmen, are ever the same, because they're done on the moment. When he's working on it, there's always going to be a slight variance from piece to piece. I think he does a limited edition of, say, this design. I think every time he does something new happens. He doesn't know what's going on.
Where is he from?
He is from Taiwan. He is Chinese background. I'm not too sure too much about his
But you
heritage.
said that people coming from all over the United States and internationally, how do you get together? How do you get together with these craftspeople? Is there a network?
There is a network. We advertise in the crafts magazines and crafts reports for them. I spend a lot of time going to shows and talking to craftspeople. Patricia knows I do a lot of talking. And it's fun. I love being out there. In fact, that's the best part of this is getting out and talking and being with these people. They're very interesting, and their backgrounds are so varied and so different, and they bring so much into their work.
I think I'm intrigued, and I'm sure that our viewers are intrigued by this piece. Let's show some of the other pieces. So why don't we remove this one and move on to something else? I know they're fragile, so I'm being very careful with them.
Thank you.
Which one do you want to bring up now?
Well, why don't we bring up this piece? This is a sterling silver piece by Michael and Maureen Banner.
Looks like a teapot to me.
It's a teapot. Teapots are very much collectible in craft world today. Many artists are doing this in ceramics and metals of different types. This piece is very sculptural.
It's very sculptural, and I think you like it a lot because you've used it in your literature for the show, haven't you?
I have. It's going to be in our postcards, absolutely.
And I think the point can be made clearly that it clearly has a top and a spout.
It is functional.
It is functional.
But it really is a piece to be admired and to look at, and would be a focal point for anyone who wanted to have something very special in their home.
Yes.
And it would seem to me, as a craftsperson, that it's not just enough to come up with an idea and a design and draw something, but you have to have the workshop to produce this. Now, do all of the people produce their own work? Sculptors, for example, will work small, and then there may be a studio or craftspeople who will take it and make it into the large bronze or marble that it is. What happens with craftspeople?
It varies. It really does vary among the craftspeople. A piece such as this is done by the individual who has designed it and wants to put in every curve and every unusual element in the design. But as you get into less expensive pieces, it's, I think, you can jump in here anytime, but a lot of craftspeople will have one or two people working with them.
What I would like to say is a lot of us are in love with the process of making our work, and the process is the part, not only the finished product, but we love doing it. We love the hands-on aspect of doing our craft. And so there are those who have helpers and those who, like me, I'm not ready to share just yet. So I do all of my own work.
I want to show just one other piece, and then I want to show some of your work, which you brought along. So why don't you bring up this next piece, Betsy?
Well, this is very colorful and a lot of fun. This is done by Pinkwater Glass, Lisa Schwartz and Kurt Swanson, I believe. They do very funky, fun glass, and their interpretation is usually with a lot of color and a lot of style, a lot of wavy parts. They do candlesticks, they'll do vases.
Is this blown glass?
It's blown glass, and it's infused with color.
It's incredible. I mean, the color is and the form. It's got all those elements.
Well, they're known for their color.
Why do people go to craft shows? Why do they buy? Are they collectors? Do they want to show them? We can put this aside.
I think a lot of people like to go to craft shows because they're going to see work that they're not going to see anywhere else. It's not mass-produced work. It's special because it's being made by hand. The work that we show is made here in the United States. And I think instead of going into a store where you know that piece is in 5 other stores, what's interesting about going to a craft show is you're meeting the craftsman himself, craftsperson. You're seeing their work, their special pieces, and you're seeing a large collection of their work, which you're not going to see in a store. And you can talk with them and find out a little bit about their backgrounds. And if you want to collect or start a collection,
that one-on-one relationship is very important.
I think it's very important.
You're seeing the person who did it as instead of something that just came off a production line and was made in pieces, perhaps by various other people. And how do people display what they buy?
They're very creative. It's wonderful to see what some of these craftspeople will do. They build an environment around them so that when you step into their booth, you could be in a gallery, in a small gallery of their work. And this is what's very important in the show, like ours, where we do have high-end merchandise, that the craftspeople pay attention to how they're presenting their work. And you'll see when you come to the show how clever some of them are in displaying their work.
I do want to point out at this time that we're talking about the Westchester Craft Show this fall at the Westchester County Center. And my guests today are Betsy Kubie, who is the director of the show, and Patricia Burling, who is a craftsperson, a weaver. And at this point, I think I'm going to bring up from the inner regions here where we've hidden them, some of your work, and talk about the process. I am intrigued, and why don't you help me open this up so that we can lay it over the edge of the table and let people see what is this?
This is
Patricia?
a throw. A throw to wrap oneself in, or oneself and one's friend. They're soft. They're wool, mohair, rayon, and silk. Combination of fibers to catch the light, for loft, and for warmth.
Where'd the inspiration come from, Patricia?
From this one? Well, if you look closely, you could see colors in rocks in the southwest and the sky. So that was this one.
Yeah, I think it's so pretty in the tassels, all the colors and the textures you can see.
All the colors seem to come right out of there. So what's the process?
It's weaving. It's a traditional art form, and I've just changed some of the fibers using a combination to create interest and to catch the light. I'm very concerned with reflection. Most of my work is involved with reflection and how the light plays off of a piece.
And this is done on a loom?
A loom. A traditional loom.
Is it large?
This particular one is a large loom. Yes, it's a Cranbrook, if I might say that. And it was built and designed by an architect for his wife, actually, years ago. I don't remember how many. And she was a weaver.
What's the process? I really know nothing about it at all. You start, I assume, with...
You measure out the yarns on what they call a warping board, which I use. There are other tools to use, but I'm kind of a process person, so I use the most simple things. Also, I'm self-taught, so I guess this is where I'm up to in my craft. And then it's random. My work is somewhat random in the throws, using the color, and I change color as I measure out the yarn. I use what pleases me, I think.
Is it a large loom?
Yes, it's a large. It's 60 inches wide.
So where is it?
It's in my studio. I have 3 looms right now that I work on. Because if I have one that I do samples on. If I have an idea and I want to try something out, I go over to my sample loom, which is always ready when I'm ready.
Right.
And I put something on and I try out a new idea. And oftentimes they work.
What's the size of this particular throw?
This one is 48 by 76 inches long.
That is large.
Yeah, and plus the fringe, and I do custom work, so that you were talking before about meeting the artist. Well, not only can you meet me, but I can come to your home and we can work out colors and design something particularly for your place.
How long is the process from start to completion of something such as this?
Well, I'd like to say all my life. I'd like to say that it depends on going to the person's...
This particular
item. I would say maybe 2 or 3 days from the time I get the yarn and put it on the loom, because I dye a lot of the yarn, so that when I get the yarn, sometimes we're looking for a specific color for someone's home, and we work out that color and we send samples, and then they send back for approvals.
Do some things work out better than others from the idea, and as you progress with them, they do or do not come to fruition, or once you get the idea, it does work out?
I'm going to say it works out.
It works out?
Yeah. Because I've been doing this for a while, and
And I'm removing it so that we can bring up another very, very interesting piece that you've done.
Okay.
But the question that I have is, so once you have that concept and you know your techniques, and so it works because you know where you're going.
Yes, in that particular piece, yes. There are some pieces that I do that are what I call wall constructions, and those pieces I can change as I go along, but that particular piece is planned.
We were talking about one of the pieces that we showed earlier, and you said for everyone that is completed, many do not make it. That doesn't happen in weaving.
Oh, it does sometimes, yes. Yeah.
Something. Well,
Sometimes,
this is a bigger piece, and while I bring it up here, why don't you talk about what it is?
Okay, this is a rug. I'm starting on a new direction with these pieces. This is from a collection that I'm called Fibers of the Field, and back to what I said originally about walking outside and seeing things. Sometimes you walk along the side of a road and you see a cluster of daylilies. I'm intrigued with daylilies at this point in time. One of my neighbors has a beautiful English garden, and the daylilies in that garden must be hybrid. I don't know much about it, but these are the colors that you find in those lilies. She has a brick kind of path, and she has ivy. So that's where I got the inspiration for this rug.
It's beautiful, and you know what I like? I like the lighter fiber.
Right, and then talking about the reflection, I'm concerned with reflection. I put this particular fiber is rayon, and I put that in to catch the light. As the daylight changes in a room, you pick up little surprises along the way as the light hits it.
I keep hearing you talking about the reflections and highlights and color, which is very important, and texture, of course, which is very important. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but this is almost ridged here. There's a definite, but this is a rug, isn't it?
Yes.
How would anyone dare walk on it?
Well, quite frankly, I did have some problems early on when I did craft fairs, because people would ask me that question. And so now I have photographs in my booth. The largest rug that I've done thus far is a 9x12, and it was installed in a law office in Manhattan in their reception area, and I have a photograph of that to prove that you can walk on them.
I visited people who have new rugs on the floor, particularly white ones, who say take off your shoes before you come into the room.
This is a technique called ripsmata. It's a Finnish technique, and there are 48 yarns in every inch vertically, and then to make these ridges, I weave them. This particular one was woven with 18 woolen yarns, which makes the ridge. Then it's locked in with a binder thread, so you cannot put your finger through it, and it's reversible. So you have both sides. It's a thick rug. I can control the heft of the rug by how many yarns I weave it with.
And
They're durable.
You said you're self-taught.
Yes.
You've learned a lot.
Yes, definitely.
Where does one learn?
Well, I was fortunate enough to live down south at a point in my life where I befriended a weaver and was inspired by her, although she did wearables. But we became very good friends, and I wanted to do large pieces. So I started off doing rugs, and a lot of it is trial and error.
Well, you've certainly done some remarkable things here as far as I'm concerned. So we've talked about the ceramics, and we've talked about metalwork. We've certainly talked about weaving and things that Patricia does. What else is included in the range? Jewelry, a lot of jewelry.
We have a lot of jewelry, beautiful jewelry, fine jewelry, silver jewelry. We also have casually, sort of funky kind of jewelry, fun things. We have wood. The category of wood includes wood furniture as well as lathed wood pieces, vessels, small boxes, and so forth. Decorative and functional. What else? What another? Ceramics we've mentioned, and glass.
We want to make sure, having discussed this and making sure that people come, that we give the dates and then the telephone number for more information. So what are the dates of the show?
The dates of the show are September 23rd, 24th.
At the Westchester County Center.
At the Westchester County Center. On Saturday, we open at 11 and close at 6. And then on Sunday, we open at 12 and close at 5:30.
And what's the telephone number to call for?
I hope I've got that right now. I should look at my card. The telephone number is 203 254-0486. And I just want to make sure of the times because we have changed them.
Now, Patricia, you're going to be there the entire time?
Yes, I am.
And
The artists will be there so that you can come and speak
all of the
with,
artists
yes.
are there?
Yes.
At every one of them, okay. How are we doing on the time, Betsy? Did you check that out? Or
I don't have the card here for some.
It is Saturday and Sunday.
It's Saturday and Sunday, and
they
I
can
believe
call
the
the
hours are either
telephone
10 to 6, I believe, and 11 to 5:30.
Let's repeat the telephone number.
203-254-0486.
And as usual on this program, we'll put that number up in the closing credits in case anybody failed to have a pen or pencil handy at the time. Now, what's different about this craft show than others? There are craft shows of various calibers that are going on all the time. Lincoln Center has a well-known outdoor craft show, and there are many that go on in different places. What's unique about this one?
This one is about 110 craftspeople. They represent fine crafts from all over the country. And what we're looking for is a variety of fine crafts within each media that we jury. I think you'll find that there's a lot of interest in seeing fine crafts, that you're not seeing less expensive work, but fine design.
This is more upscale, you would say. Yeah. And people, I assume, will come from everywhere. Your experience in Washington is from a very wide area. It's not just local people who come to...
We do. We draw from all kinds of people and backgrounds and interests, and I think they come to see what is going on in the craft world, and we do represent them from, as I said, all over the country.
I like the fact that this is an exhibition as well as a sale, which of course goes on at all craft shows, because you really have an opportunity to see what is out there and what is happening today, as opposed to what has been happening all along. And of course that's very, very important. It must take an awful lot to devote yourself to giving up your time and working to go to a craft show. Of course, like chicken and egg, you can't have one without the other, I suppose.
I really need to do that. I work alone. And we have a community of craftspeople who are my friends, and I see them when I do a craft show. And as Betsy said, they come from all over the country, so that's my vehicle for seeing my friends. And also, it's very important for me to meet the public and get some feedback. You become inspired by people that you meet.
Is it lonesome working alone?
No, I like it. No, because I do need that private time.
But Patricia, when she travels, she usually is alone, and many
Yes.
craftspeople will take their families with them, and it's an opportunity for their families to see the country and visit places they might not normally
go. So it goes beyond that. Well, I certainly thank you both for coming here and
Thank you.
sharing with us the information about where crafts are today, and the fact that the Westchester Craft Show will be at the Westchester County Center. It's been most enlightening for me, and I'm sure that our viewers have learned a lot. We've been talking about the Westchester Craft Show at the County Center in White Plains. It should be a fascinating place to go. Go see it. I'm Norman Liss. The name of the program is The Way to Go. Until next time, at this time, enjoy yourself.